Hello, my dear students. Welcome to a new episode of Life Science. Today, we will talk about blood. The blood is a part of the cardiovascular system. We already know that the cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood, and the blood vessels. So today, we will talk more about blood. The blood travels through miles and miles of blood vessels to reach every cell in your body. So you must have a lot of blood, right? Actually, an adult human body has about 5 liters of blood. Your body probably has a little less than this. All the blood in your body would not fill 3 soda bottles. 3-liter soda bottles, two of them, your blood will not fill these two. But what is blood? Blood is the fluid that carries gases, nutrients, and wastes through the body, and that is made up of plasma, red blood cells, platelets, and white blood cells. So the four main components of blood. Blood is a connective tissue made up of plasma, platelets, red blood cells, and white blood cells. The blood carries oxygen and the nutrients to all parts of your body to supply them with oxygen and the nutrients. So let's talk about the different parts or components of blood. First, plasma. The fluid part of the blood is called the plasma. The fluid part, this is the fluid part of the blood. This is what makes a blood like a fluid. Plasma is a mixture of water, minerals, nutrients, sugars, proteins, and other substances. Actually, the red blood cells, white blood cells, and the platelets, they are found in plasma. Then red blood cells. Most red blood cells, cells are red blood cells or RBCs. The RBCs or red blood cells take oxygen to every cell in your body. The cells need oxygen to carry out their functions. As we know, each RBC, each red blood cell has hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an oxygen carrying protein. This is what enables the red blood cells to carry and transport oxygen. Hemoglobin clings to oxygen when you inhale. It attached or stick to oxygen when you inhale. RBCs can then transport oxygen throughout the body. The hemoglobin also gives the red blood cells their red color. The red blood cells, they are made in the bone marrow of certain bones, as we mentioned in the skeletal system. Also, the red blood cells, as they mature, they lose their nucleus and their DNA. This is very important. What about platelets? Platelets, they are like small plates. Drifting among the blood cells are tiny particles called platelets. The platelets, they are pieces or fragments of larger cells found in bone marrow. These larger cells remain in the bone marrow, but fragments or parts of these cells are pinched off. They separate themselves from the larger cells and enter the bloodstream as platelets. The platelets last only for 5 to 10 days, but they are an important part of your blood. Why? When you cut or scrape your skin, you bleed because blood vessels have been opened. As soon as bleeding starts, the platelets begin to clump together. They collect each other or gather themselves in the damaged area. They form a plug that helps reduce the blood loss and stop bleeding. Platelets also release chemicals that react with proteins in the plasma. This reaction causes tiny fibers to form. These fibers help create a blood clot and stop the bleeding. The platelets release chemicals in damaged vessels. As can you see here? The damaged vessels, the platelets release chemicals in these parts and cause fibers to form. The fibers make like a net that traps blood cells and stop bleeding. Then what about white blood cells? Pathogens. What are pathogens? Pathogens are bacteria, viruses, and other microscopic particles that can make you sick. These pathogens can enter your body. When they enter your body, they often meet white blood cells or WBCs. WBCs help keep you healthy by destroying pathogens and also help clean the wounds or the injuries. These are different types of white blood cells. White blood cells defend the body against pathogens. White blood cells fight pathogens in several ways, like what? Some WBCs squeeze out of the blood vessels and move around in tissues, searching for pathogens. Once they find a pathogen, they destroy it immediately. Other white blood cells release antibodies. The antibodies, they are chemicals that defend or destroy pathogens. White blood cells also keep you healthy by destroying the body cells that have died or been damaged. They get rid of the cells that have died or damaged. Most WBCs are made in the bone marrow, and some white blood cells mature in the lymphatic system. Then what about body temperature regulation? Your blood does more than only supplying cells with oxygen and the nutrients. The blood also helps regulate your body temperature. How this happens? When your brain senses that your body temperature is rising, it signals, this is the brain signals the blood vessels in your skin to enlarge, to become larger or wider. As the vessels enlarge, heat from your blood is transferred to your skin. This transfer helps lower your temperature. And when your brain senses that your temperature is normal, it instructs your blood vessels to return to their normal size. What about blood pressure? Do you remember the pressure? Every time your heart beats, it pushes blood out of the heart and into your arteries. So what is blood pressure? It is the force exerted by blood on the inside walls of arteries. This is the force by which the blood is pushing on the walls, the inner walls or the inside walls of the arteries, or it is the force that blood exerts on the walls of the arteries. Okay, blood pressure is expressed in millimeters mercury, mmHg. For example, a blood pressure of 110 millimeter mercury means that the pressure on the artery walls can push a narrow cone of mercury at a height of 110 millimeters. Okay, the blood pressure is actually given as two numbers, such as 110 over 70 millimeter mercury. What are these numbers represent? Systolic pressure is the first number, the high number. This is called the systolic pressure. Systolic pressure, this is the pressure inside large arteries when the ventricles contract. The surge of blood causes the arteries to bulge and produce pulse. Okay, the second number, like the 70, it is called diastolic pressure. Diastolic pressure, this is the pressure inside arteries when the ventricles relax. For adults, a blood pressure of 120 over 80 millimeter mercury or below is considered healthy. High blood pressure can cause heart or kidney damage. What about blood types? You might have heard that my blood type is A, O, or whatever. So what is this? Every person has one of four blood types, A, B, AB, or O. Your blood type refers to the type of chemicals you have on the surface of your red blood cells. These surface chemicals, they are called antigens. Antigens. So what about them? The type A blood has A antigens, type B blood has B antigens, type AB blood has both A and B antigens, type O blood has neither the A nor the B antigen. Okay, the different blood types have different antigens on their red blood cells. They may also have different antibodies in the plasma. These antibodies react to antigens of other blood types as if the antigens were pathogens. So the antibodies react to the antigens of the other blood types as if they were pathogens. This is why no one can take blood from a different blood type. Okay. Type A blood has antibodies that react to type B blood. If a person with type A blood receives type B blood, the type B antibodies attach themselves to the type B red blood cells. In this case, these red blood cells begin to clump together, and the clumps may block blood vessels. This is a major problem. A reaction to the wrong blood type may be fatal in some cases. This figure shows which antigens and antibodies may be present in each blood type. This is blood type A. These are antigens A, and it have antibodies to blood type B. Look at blood type B. The antigens, they are attached to the surface of the red blood cell, and they have antibodies for blood type A. AB, it have both the antigens of A and B, but blood type O, it do not have any antigen of blood type A and B, but it have the antibodies of A and B. Okay. Sometimes a person must be given a blood transfusion. Transfusion, this is like taking blood from one person to another. A transfusion, this is the injection of blood or blood components into a person to replace blood that have been lost because of injury or surgery. So the transfusion, this is the injection of blood or blood components into a person to replace blood that has been lost because of surgery or an injury. Bags of blood that may be given in a transfusion. The blood type is clearly marked. As you can see, the blood type is clearly written on these bags. A person receiving the blood cannot receive blood from just anyone because of the ABO blood types have different antigen antibody reactions. And these are the blood transfusion possibilities. The type A blood can receive from A and O because O do not have antigens of any other blood type and can donate to A and AB. This is blood type A. Blood type B, it can receive from B and O and it can donate to B and AB. Blood type AB can receive from all and can donate only to AB blood. Type O can receive from O and can donate to all the types of blood. And this is the end of our part for today. I hope you understood this session. Thank you guys and goodbye.